Hello, welcome to Lawrence County History Corner, and my name is Lori. Today I am actually discussing a bit of Lawrence County history, focused a little bit on what it was like for our ancestors when they were pioneers in the early 1800s. Now these stories actually come from Reverend James Gilruth, who wrote a series of articles in the 1870s. And he actually tried to record a lot of our early history of Lawrence County, and he focused specifically on some of the early settlements. Now, keep in mind the early settlements were the early settlers settled in Lawrence County. What a tongue twister! At the close of the long and bloody Indian Wars. Most of those early settlers, especially the men, participated. Their lives were on the line, and the Revolutionary War wasn't that far in the past. These dangers were very fresh in their minds. They were a scattered population. They weren't very close. There wasn't a lot of little towns. And that meant that the pioneers had to support each other. They had to look to their neighbor for help. And this type of dependence on each other perpetuated this feeling of friendship and hospitality, and not just to the neighbors, the people they knew, but also to strangers. They realized that they did not know if the person they met today was going to be the person they needed to depend on tomorrow. And it was very rare that a stranger was ever sent away without a meal or a place to sleep. Now, that place to sleep certainly would not be a bedroom by their own. It may be a place out in the barn or whatever. But people shared what little they did have. And when it came to Christmas and New Year's dinners, they weren't like what we are used to today. Most of the food was what they had available locally. They may have abundance of the food for a feast, but it wasn't unique food that we see today. The foods would include venison, bear meat, fish, and wild fowl. They would also include vegetables like corn, potatoes, pumpkins. Milk and butter would be available, of course, for their dairy cows. And they would even make corn coffee, sweetened with sugar they had raised themselves. When it came to the holidays, these dinners were made by those who could afford, and they invited everyone, all far and near, to participate and partake of the bounty that they had. It wasn't unusual for them to have like a potluck where everyone brought something and helped, at least if they were able to. This was a way of providing for each other, celebrating the holiday, and also supporting each other, remembering how much they depended on each other, and hopefully soaring up those bonds that they had already created. When you would look at their attire, even for these special occasions, the men usually and boys wore buckskin or linsey pants, a vest, a hunting shirt, buckskin moccasins, and a flax or a linen shirt. Women usually wore linsey or cotton gowns made striped or dyed to their specifications. All their clothes were homemade, home sewn, home designed, and usually sewn at home, and possibly even the material created at home. Obviously the buckskin came from the animals that they killed for their food. They used almost everything that they could from the animals that provided their meat. And the women would often knit, crochet, and do anything they could to provide clothing and warmth to their families. Now, if you would like to read more of the articles written by Reverend James Gilruth. You can come to our genealogy department located on the second floor of the Ironton Library. You can also call, and if you have some questions about Lawrence County history, we might be able to help you. So give us a phone call at 740-532-1124.